Over the past few weeks, we've been looking at passive and active transport. We've been adding the different types of passive transport to our cell membranes. So you see diffusion here at the bottom, and diffusion moves the small polar and nonpolar molecules from high to low concentration across the membrane, directly through the membrane. We also talked about facilitated diffusion, which moves the larger molecules like glucose from high to low concentration, but this time going through a protein channel rather than directly through the membrane like diffusion goes. And then finally, we talked about osmosis, which is the movement of water across the membrane. Again, we're going to use a protein channel, and we're still going from high to low concentration because it's still a passive transport method. Recently, we also added the 3 types of active transport to our cell membrane. So up here we added pumps, and we're moving molecules or ions across the membrane, but we're doing it through a protein. And now we're not going from high to low concentration. Instead, we're going from low to high concentration. We also talked about endocytosis. Endocytosis is the movement of large molecules or materials into the cell. So we see a vesicle is used to bring those molecules into the cell. We talked about how we get molecules or large materials out of the cell. And again, we're using that vesicle to get those materials out of the cell. Today in class, we talked about the endomembrane system, and now we want to add that to our cell membrane. The endomembrane system produces proteins and lipids that are destined for different places, sometimes inside the cell and sometimes outside of the cell. If the protein or lipid is destined for a location outside of the cell, then exocytosis will be used to get that molecule out of the cell. So we're going to use the middle of our cell here to add the endomembrane system. We're going to start with a nucleus. So you can draw a circle for your nucleus. And then I put squiggles inside to represent the DNA inside the nucleus. And we'll label that nucleus. Just outside of the nucleus, we want to draw the endoplasmic reticulum. So following the shape of the nucleus, you're going to draw your little endoplasmic reticulum. Remember, we do have 2 types of endoplasmic reticulum. We have the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is rough because it has ribosomes. So we'll place ribosomes on the endoplasmic reticulum closest to the nucleus. And then we'll label that RER for rough endoplasmic reticulum. We're not going to place any ribosomes on the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which is further away from the nucleus. And we'll just label that SER for smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The next step in the endomembrane system is the Golgi apparatus. And the Golgi apparatus looks like a stack of pancakes. So you just want to draw several very long, skinny ovals. Oops. Just right on top of each other. And then we can label that Golgi apparatus. Finally, we want to show how a lipid or a protein is produced in the endomembrane system and how it eventually travels to its final location. So we will show a vesicle leaving the endoplasmic reticulum, and we'll put 3 little dots in there, and those little dots will represent the lipid or the protein that we've produced. In this case, it looks to me like a lipid because it came from the smooth ER. We'll then show that that vesicle travels to the Golgi apparatus. In the Golgi apparatus, that material, that lipid that's produced, gets sent through the various layers or sacs of the Golgi apparatus. So I'm showing my dots traveling from one to the next through each of the sacs, where it's being packaged and prepared for transport. Again, this is like that UPS store where we're getting it ready to be shipped. Finally, we'll show that the vesicle is leaving the Golgi apparatus, and now it has that package, that lipid inside of it. And then we're going to connect that to that exocytosis that we added to our cell membrane previously to show that this is the completed journey. So in the endomembrane system, we begin by creating the substance up here in our endoplasmic reticulum. Then we send it via a vesicle into my Golgi apparatus, which prepares it for shipment, packages it. It puts it into another vesicle, which then travels maybe to the cell membrane, which is what we see here, and it's exported from the cell, or it can travel somewhere else within the cell and be used within the cell. So your cell membrane should be pretty much complete at this point. We have the glycoprotein, we have the glycolipid. We also had the cholesterol, which we labeled. And you also have all of your phospholipids labeled. On Monday, we'll add some color to our endomembrane system to make sure that it kind of matches with the coloring of the rest. And what you should be doing in preparation for the test on Tuesday is working on your study guide, which is the last several pages of the packet. And we'll go over those answers, and we'll do some more review on Monday when I return.